Hey friends, thanks for joining me. Today I'm going to be scouting my new town here in Mount Gretna for an upcoming snowstorm. And the reason I'm scouting them ahead of time is I'm familiarizing myself with the area still, and we haven't been here that long, and it's a pretty big area, lots of trails and woods and everything, and I just want to scout a few locations like the lake and a couple of the trails. And I have a photo in mind for the trails where I want to find the biggest pines I can with the overhanging snow, like loaded down with snow. I just have this idea of this nice trail with the overhanging pines. Kind of like, I always say this, but it's like a Thomas Kincaid painting, but without the house. Like that kind of warm and fuzzy feeling where it just snowed and you're just surrounded with these gobs of snow with the branches hanging down, weighted down with the snow. That's kind of the idea that I'm going to go for. So at the end of the week, we're supposed to get this huge snowstorm and get about a foot of snow, and I'm definitely going to have to be on foot, probably going to have to be on foot. So I'm going to be doing quite a bit of walking, a few miles. So I want to have these locations mapped out ahead of time so I don't have to do it the day of. So thanks for joining me, and check this out. So I want to scout out a bunch of locations so I can come here when the snow is hot and heavy hanging off the pines and all the other trees, so I don't have to figure that out on foot, freezing my butt off. And reason number two why I'm out here today is I'm at the lake here, and I want to take a long exposure with the 70-200 at 200 millimeters. So we'll see how that turns out. It's a little bit brighter than I thought it was, so we'll see how that turns out. And for the long exposure, obviously I'm going to put the variable ND on, but first I'm going to see if I can actually get the shot I want. Right now I'm thinking there may not be enough clouds to make a long exposure work. I'm not quite sure. I'm gonna maybe underexpose it a little bit to see if I can bring out the clouds moving, but it's kind of washed out. It's not quite overcast, but it's kind of washed out. So as you can see by that shot, didn't really get what I was after, and I shouldn't expect it because of the time of day. Decided to put the 16-35 on and get a low to the ice shot across to the swimming area over here, the buildings and stuff, and see how that turns out. Maybe that'll be my star shot of the day. I hadn't really planned on getting any good shots, but you know what happens when you actually get out here. Things change. I feel like I need to take home at least one good shot, so I'm going to try that out. I'm going to shoot this as f8, 400th of a second, and ISO obviously 100. I had it stop down to f22 for the other photo, plus the ND filter, and I think pretty soon I need to get a stronger ND filter so I can actually pull it off. With the variable ND, it tops out way before because of the X pattern that it causes when you have it on the full strength. So you're definitely not getting 10 stops. I'm thinking I might need to get a 10 stop filter. But I'm going to shut up now and take this as close to the ice as I can without falling in. I'm going to drive it around a little bit more. My fingers are about frozen solid. I didn't forget my gloves. I usually come out here if I'm using the camera, and I'll just put my hands in my pockets if I get cold. I think I should probably start bringing gloves along because it's well below freezing right now. Left the bag back in the car. Got to be too much of a nuisance. I have the two things I need. So another place I wanted to do was just scout out is things like this. I'm gonna whip this around. Might not look like much now, but the entrance to the trail here is two pines here. They're smaller pines, but once they're weighted down with a heavy snow, and if you get at the right time with some light coming through here, it'll look pretty banging. I stuck with the 16 to 35, traveling light here, but realistically, I would probably go way back there to where you park, zoom into 200, and kind of just get a different view, a more compressed view than what the 16 mil will do. Right here along the trail is one of the spots. I believe this used to be like a water tank. I'm not 100% sure what it is, but it's got some green moss on it, lots of rust, some old concrete. Definitely a nice gritty looking photo. And again, if it's covered in snow, you'll see on the ledges and on top a nice just kind of melting down the sides. I think it'll look cool. But I'm going to take a picture today just to remind myself this is where I want to go. This is the actual rail trail, and what I'll do on the day of is dress a lot warmer than I am right now. And I'm gonna go to the right here because that way actually goes behind our house, and I know there's probably more pines here. That's what I'm looking for. I'm gonna walk until I find some decently sized pine trees, because that's what holds most of the snow. As you can see, the rest of the trees have no leaves because it's winter, and the pine trees will hold a lot more snow, so they'll be much more photogenic than pretty much any other tree. So now that I'm good and freezing, I'm gonna go in and probably build a fire and warm up my hands that barely move. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and tell your friends. And every single day, create, share, repeat, and keep it awesome. I'll see you next time.